Welcome to Truemysteriestx. Today, we uncover a chilling pattern across America, one that threads through time, tragedy, and the unexplained. Scattered across the country are grand, historic mansions, seemingly unrelated. These aren't just beautiful relics of a bygone era. They're haunted, steeped in sorrow, mystery, and whispers from the other side. They've held up through the time and ages, and hold on to spirits, as if time refuses to let go of the past. Each house has its own secrets, its own shadows. But they all share one thing in common: the Grant name. Is this a curious coincidence, or something far more unsettling? These aren't the only tales of haunted places that possess that name, there are several others. But today we're only going to dive into 5, although there are plenty more. Join us, as we step into forgotten histories, and perhaps, brush against the veil of the otherworldly. Our first stop, the Grant House in Vancouver, Washington. Chapter 1: The Soldier Who Never Left. Tucked inside the grounds of the historic Vancouver Barracks, this house was built in 1849 and has long been linked, though mistakenly, to Ulysses S. Grant. It has long been referred to as the Grant House, giving visitors the impression that this home was occupied by Ulysses S. Grant, the 18th President of the United States. The Civil War general did serve here briefly, but he never lived in this house. Still, his name became attached in 1879, years after another tragedy struck. The true first resident was Major John S. Hathaway. In 1849, soldiers under the supervision of the Major erected the first of the Rose log houses, including the structure that is now referred to as the Grant House. This cabin was to serve as a residence for the fort's commanding officer. In total, 9 log cabins were built that year. Upon completion of the cabins, Hathaway and his family moved into the house. They lived there for several years, where Hathaway served as fort commander. He and his family lived here until 1853, when, for reasons lost to history, Hathaway took his own life within these very walls. His unfortunate fate likely discouraged the U.S. Army, and the historians who followed, from referring to the log cabin as the Hathaway House. The name Grant was bestowed upon the house in 1879, when the victorious Civil War general returned to Vancouver. The cabin, once acting as the officers' quarters, has long been tied to ghostly encounters, particularly those involving military spirits. Over the years, visitors have reported strange sightings: a soldier in full uniform standing silently by the staircase at full attention. Some claim he disappears if approached, while others report hearing the sound of boots marching down the hallway late at night when no one is there. Several guests have reported a heavy oppressive feeling in certain rooms, as if unseen eyes are constantly watching. During paranormal investigations, ghost hunters have captured strange electromagnetic field fluctuations and recorded disembodied voices in the house. Some psychics who have visited claim the energy is tied to soldiers who once lived and died in the barracks, lingering in their former home. Today, the Grant House is a popular site for history buffs and ghost enthusiasts alike, offering visitors a chance to walk through its haunted halls and perhaps experience something otherworldly themselves. From its indigenous roots and early settlers to its eerie legends and well-known haunted sites, Vancouver, Washington, has built a reputation as a city steeped in supernatural intrigue. With ghost stories, local folklore, and unexplained sightings woven into its history, it remains a hotspot for paranormal enthusiasts and curiosity seekers alike. Whether you're all in on the paranormal or simply intrigued by the unknown, Vancouver's mysterious side adds an exciting layer to its historical charm. So if you ever visit, don't be surprised if you sense something strange in the air, or even catch a glimpse of the unexplained. Here, the paranormal isn't just a tale, it's part of the city's enduring mystique. Next, we head to Denver, Colorado, to the grand and ghostly Grant-Humphreys mansion. Chapter 2: Whispers in the Ballroom. The Grant-Humphreys mansion has a tragic past, one that many believe has left a permanent mark on the property. It was built in 1902, in the neoclassical style of architecture, by Boll and Hanwha, for James Benton Grant, following his one term as the third governor of Colorado. In 1917, after Grant died, it was sold to another influential and connected family, the Humphreys. Albert E. Humphreys was a prominent figure in the oil industry. He was born in 1860 and passed away in May 1927. After his death in 1927, the house passed to his family and, eventually, to the state. It now functions as an event venue, but its true guests might not all be from this world. For many decades, almost everybody who has worked at the Grant-Humphreys mansion, whether they're full-time staff, volunteers, or caterers working on contract, have reported strange occurrences throughout areas of the house. Most of the reported occurrences are small and easily written off. Strange noises after dark are easily dismissed as the sound of the house settling. Unusually cold patches in the basement are marked as probably the result of a draft in the century-old building. Lights turning off, or fire alarms sounding for no reason, are theorized as the wiring being practically antique. However, many staff members report more dramatic events, things that stand out as unexplainable, and, as some believe, paranormal. The Grant-Humphreys mansion isn't ran as a house museum or historical site. Instead, it's been turned into a non-profit event venue, most popular for weddings. Rita, the director of the mansion, has stated that it's a beautiful site, and that there are other mansions in Denver, but they are the only ones that are completely non-profit. And the money goes directly to education and programs at History Colorado. Thousands of weddings, parties, and events have been held in the house over the past few decades. And over the years, very similar stories pile up, some of which few can be explained. Rita has stated that she's a skeptic and doesn't want to be a believer, but it's the first thing you hear about, that it's beautiful, it's gorgeous, and it's haunted. One of the features in the mansion is a piano from the early 1900s. Rita stated that although she hasn't experienced many odd occurrences, most of the ones she has experienced have been while playing the piano on the main floor. She says, jokingly, that she thinks the ghosts just don't like her playing. She explained how every single caterer has experienced something. They've seen something, or even more often smelled something. They smell perfume or tobacco, when they haven't had any events. And there was once a police officer who experienced something. She said she felt something in the basement. It was like a pocket of coldness, which really freaked her out. Similar experiences are reported by many of the other witnesses. Sometimes when something overt happens, it seems to be teasing, or playful, even childlike. She says that they hear playing and giggling, and sometimes someone singing to themselves. More than one person says they've felt someone tugging on their hair. She also stated that their tall cocktail tables have bows on them, which look very pretty. One person tied up all the sashes into the bows, but when they turned around, the sashes had all been untied. Many staff members and caterers report seeing the same image, a flash of pink, topped by golden curls. Rita iterates that they all say it's a little girl. Over the years, many ghost hunters, mediums, and seance holders have come to the mansion to investigate the ghost stories associated with this historic place. And some of the investigations were featured on television on the second season of a show called Portals to Hell. Most of these investigators came away saying that there is some form of presence at the house, possibly even multiple ghosts. But that it's completely benign. Some warned that inhabiting a haunted space can be draining, and asked Rita if she ever felt tired after spending a lot of time at the mansion. She just laughed, and dismissed it as nothing to be really afraid of. She stated to the investigators that there's no reason for anybody to be afraid of coming here, and that the ghosts seem to be more friendly, or playful, and that it's just teasing us. She says if you're interested in ghosts, a visit might be worth your time. Some visitors have even claimed to see the apparition of Albert himself, standing near the grand staircase, where he is said to have died. Whether Albert's restless spirit remains, or other unseen forces are at play, one thing is certain: the Grant-Humphreys mansion is home to more than just memories. From Colorado to Preston, Connecticut, where Captain Grant's inn hides centuries of secrets. Chapter 3: The Lady of the Stairs. This colonial-era home, dating back to the 1750s, has a deep and unsettling history. Built in 1754, this charming colonial inn once sheltered Revolutionary War soldiers and escaped slaves. Today, it offers peaceful lodgings, but peace isn't always guaranteed. Located in Preston, the gorgeous bed and breakfast once sheltered Continental soldiers during the Revolutionary War, and provided a safe haven for runaway slaves. Today, the inn provides accommodations to travelers looking for a historical spot to rest and relax, welcoming you in a beautiful cabin-like setting, which is most of the time pretty peaceful. However, some guests have reported that they've had unexpected accompaniments, especially in one particular room of the inn, the Adelaide Room, which is known for unexplained activity. One guest reported seeing a woman wearing colonial-era clothing, and with her were 2 children. Others have heard random knockings, the TV turns on and off sporadically, and others have seen the shower curtain fall to the floor, with no explanation. Adelaide has also been spotted on the main staircase. Other spirits, like a young girl named Deborah Adams, are also known to have a hand at the mysterious hauntings. In 2003, CNN recognized Captain Grant's as one of the top haunted places to stay on Halloween, especially since it sits next to the nearby cemetery, where several of the inn's former residents rest, including its most famous spirit, Mercy Adelaide Avery. Some of the inn's most heard spirits include the ghostly children, who have been heard laughing and running through the halls late at night. Paranormal teams are said to have documented EVPs of these children's voices, and unexplained knocking sounds throughout the house. Far from hiding its haunted reputation, Captain Grant's Inn fully embraces its spectral residents, offering ghost-themed stays for those eager to experience its chilling history firsthand. And again, in a series of portals to hell, Jack and Katrina head this time to the historic village to investigate Captain Grant's Inn. Even though Jack admitted that this location definitely has a bit of a horror movie vibe to it, the house proved to be very quiet, other than the cracking sound in the cemetery, and one questionable response through the geoport in the Avery house. Which leads us to question, could these reported sightings truly be the spirits of the past still clinging onto the memories from so long ago? Or could it just be mental simulation, amplifying, or even creating, perceived paranormal experiences through expectancy suggestion effects, physiological arousal, and heightened sensitivity to environmental cues? Whatever the reason for these paranormal activities are, whether real or imagined, one thing is for sure: there are people who swear that the house is haunted. Are these echoes from the past, or tricks of the mind in an old house near a cemetery? Either way, something lingers here. Now we arrive at Galena, Illinois, to the preserved home of Ulysses S. Grant himself. Chapter 4: The President's Presence. The brick house, which was designed by William Dennison, had been constructed in 1860 for former city clerk Alexander Jackson. On behalf of only a small group of local Republicans, Thomas Hewlett purchased the house, June of 1865, and presented it to Grant, 2 months later. Following his election as president in 1868, he visited only occasionally, and made his final visits to his Galena home in 1880. Then on July 23, 1885, Ulysses S. Grant, Civil War hero and the nation's 18th president, died a painful and impoverished death at the age of 63. He spent the last months of his life, grappling with the ravages of throat cancer, desperately writing his life's memoirs so that his family would not be poverty-stricken after he was gone. Some believe the former president himself still walks the halls, keeping an eye on his beloved home. Visitors often report strange shadows, cold spots, and even the scent of cigar smoke, despite no smoking being allowed inside. Paranormal teams investigating the site have picked up odd sounds on recording devices, including a deep male voice saying, "I am here." While skeptics argue the reports are simply the result of overactive imaginations, others who have felt an unseen presence in the house believe differently. Could the voice that the investigating teams picked up be the voice of the late Captain Grant? That's up to you to decide. And finally, we journey to San Diego, California, to the opulent and haunted U.S. Grant Hotel. Chapter 5: The Lady in White. A luxury hotel, built in 1910, by Ulysses S. Grant, Jr. The U.S. Grant Hotel in San Diego is home to more than just high-profile guests, it also houses some lingering spirits. The most famous apparition is Fanny Chaffee Grant, the first wife of Ulysses Jr. Guests and staff have spotted a woman, in a flowing white gown drifting through the hallways, believed to be her restless spirit. Reports of flickering lights, sudden temperature drops, and shadowy figures have persisted over the years. On the 5th floor, several guests claim to have woken up to see a dark figure standing at the foot of their bed, just to vanish moments later. With paranormal investigators capturing EVPs and unexplained noises, the U.S. Grant Hotel's grand setting does little to hide its eerie undercurrent. It is claimed that an apparition has been seen walking the hallways. Maids also report that items will move of their own, often seeming to move in an instant when your back is turned. Each location holds its own mysteries, filled with echoes of those who came before. And each one has theories on what could be causing these strange noises, images, and weird cold draft that seem to materialize when they choose, and disappear, as quick as they came. And it is not unusual for the housekeeping staff to report their cleaning supplies moved, while tending to other things in the different guest rooms. Guests have also reported apparitions, including awakening to the sight of a stocky man in a black suit with grey hair, standing at the foot of their bed. What do you think? Could this be just coincidence? Is it simply a product of our imagination? Or could there be a darker force at work? Well, that's the end of our 5 Grant houses, and that's going to wrap up our historic and haunted places, for now. Different locations, different ghosts, but it leaves you to wonder, why do all these places share the same name? If you ever find yourself near a Grant-named place, listen closely. The spirits may just be waiting for someone like you to uncover the truth. What are your thoughts on this? Do you believe the tales of people that have visited, and the stories of people that have been employed at these sites who claim to have witnessed such occurrences? Or do you tend to lean on the skeptical side, believing that there has to be some logical, or scientific, reasons to the seemingly paranormal activities? With each encounter, the mystery deepens. Are these spirits, or simply shadows playing tricks? Is it coincidence that so many Grant locations seem to hum with paranormal activity? Or is something else, something darker, linking them together? Either way, there's only one way to know for sure: visit them, and see for yourself.